right? So this is not a disclaimer, this is just facts. You cannot base very much when you're trying to get relationships with people on looks. You cannot base very much off of videos. You can barely even base very much off of when you meet people in person. When it comes to relationships, you need to spend a large amount of time around a person, and you need to understand how that person operates around you, and then you need to understand how they operate around other people that they've met, and that's what you're supposed to do before you make a committed relationship to people. Our society structured in a way where you're forced not to be able to do that. It's understandable, but to never make an effort to do that means you're not even ready for relationships. And I try to stress the fact that it takes about a year to really know whether or not you can even really date a person. This idea of, we go on a first date and then the person was so bad, delusional. And yeah, you can tell whether or not someone's a good date or not based on how they're acting, but not the first date. You need to be with someone who's like a really just horrible person to tell whether or not it's bad on the first date. And there are signs like one, not respecting men or not respecting women, not talking. There are some signs. But people will pretend like that's every fucking sign. You know what I mean? Like, this motherfucker fingernails weren't entirely clean on that first date. I said, fuck it. You know how dumb that is? What if a motherfucker just didn't, like, this was just that one day, they just didn't wash up under their nails. There's times, right, where I wash my hands and then I have a few fingers. You know how you have that little black, little dirt under the nail? I have like a few fingers where I didn't pull up the fucking nail and all that shit that you got to do to clean it. I didn't slide anything under there. And then I got a little black shit on under my fucking nails. You're not gonna fucking wash your nails perfectly 100% of the goddamn time. Like, there's certain things that people will say, nope, you can't do it. You can't date me. That has no real bearing on reality. It's just an assumption. You can't make assumptions all the fucking time when it comes to dating people and all that other bullshit. But let's get into things I would do for Sooyensu. So I don't really know anything about this woman. I got a woman on purpose. I don't know anything about them. I would start off trying to see if she's into art or if she likes observing it, if she likes anime and stuff like that. Not to sit down and watch anime with her. Personally, I don't really like watching anime with people unless it's an anime that I know we're both gonna like or be entertained by. But I would still watch something I don't like if it's anime, because for me, I watch any anime. I watch like any TV show. For me, I'm so into writing and stories and shit. Like, I don't care if the story's boring, right? I'll sit there, I'll watch a boring story. I've seen tons of boring stories. I had to sit through a retarded education system, sit there for hours doing nothing. I could sit down and do pointless bullshit that I don't like and just do it. So when it comes to animes, and I don't like the anime, I personally will just watch anything that anyone likes, and then it'll just go in my reservoir of tons of anime. I watched Bleach, definitely. Like, I watched almost every anime there is. I've seen anime. The only anime that I've ever sat down and was like, nah, fuck this. Shit like One Piece. It was too childish and both boring at the same time. From the time when I watched it, and then when I looked at it and I thought it was better, I was just never really interested because it has like thousands of episodes. And then Bleach. Bleach is another one that I like it. Bleach has a cool concept, but I don't fucking want to watch it. Right, like, those are two animes that I would say no, but if someone was gonna watch it with me, well, I would watch it with them. Yeah, I mean, they're not horrible. One Piece is one that I categorize as horrible and boring, but I would still watch it with someone. That's my point, right? So I would want to see if she's into anime or drawing and shit, but for the main purpose of making art, of her making art, for her making art, about her, stuff that could be interesting, creating a video game character. One thing I always wanted to do is, you know, those little desktop pet things. It would be cool to sit down with someone and be like, oh, you know, so what's your favorite food? What's your this? What do you like? Da 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 da. And then create one of these little desktop pet things. One of those, I think they're called chibis. I don't really know what they're fucking called. But it would be basically that person. That's the idea. It would be cool as fuck. So the other thing that I would do is see if she's interested in comics to like make one, like what you want to storm ideas, and you know, we create a character, we create an OC, and then boom, we write about it and we just make up random scenarios. It could be from dreams, it could be bullshit maybe you wanted to do at some point. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many possibilities with the Sooyensu just for ideas to propose, right? And then because I like coding, programming, and I want to learn more, I'd be like, okay, so shit was something that maybe you want to learn the program, that I could learn the program, that maybe in a month or two I could design, and then shit, we can look at this and it would be something that we have, that I worked on, that like, it's just, I'll give an example. Let's say Sooyensu is really into cooking. I could literally code or program a whole cookbook, and it could just be recipes and shit of things that she maybe wants to cook. Just things she wants to cook, not things she's already cooked. Things she wants to cook, and it could be things she's already cooked. Right, so like, let's say, fuck, I don't know. Let's say she's never made cheesecake. Let's say she's never made ravioli. Let's say, I don't know what are things she's made. So let's get something really interesting. Let's say she's never made decorative sushi. So like, we go in, you know, when people make those really elaborate things where it's like, oh, you see, you tip this thing over and then it rolls down and then it does this. Oh, and then once it's done, you'll see like a flower, right? Like just shit like that. Well, it would be cool as fuck to program or code a little cookbook that has a whole bunch of those little things in there. So like, I would propose all the ideas of the past couple of minutes, what I've been talking about, all of these types of things that we could work on. And then during all of that working on things, we could talk about family life, and not family like having family, family like, you know, what we've done with our family, you know what I mean? Things like, well, what is a business idea that you want to create? What's some shit that you want to do research into that maybe you would never actually do? Like, let's say you wanted to build rockets or some shit. Soon. Oh my god, I can't say her name right now. Sooyensu, right? Let's say you wanted to build rockets. Well, shit, we could just fucking talk about that. Like, do you know anything about rocket science? I know a little bit about rocket science. It's like you gotta learn how bombs work to start. Then you start learning about gas and fuel and what propels things. Right? Like, we could literally just have a session where we just talk about interesting ideas and shit, things that we're actually into. Then it could correlate to art, and I would like draw pictures. It would be just some cool shit that you could flip through. Be like, all right, here's some shit that I'm some shit I'm interested in. And then if she doesn't know how to draw, I would try and coach her through, like, oh yeah, you can use stick men, and then you can add some flavor to that shit. What would you want to do to the stick man? You want to change it up, and then we could go through and we could just read both of our things. We could look at our picture, and then boom, we can get like a whole phase of a relationship out of the way. And if she's into shit like that, into trying to express yourself, putting it on paper, showing it to each other, shit, that could be some shit that we just do on a regular basis. I maybe, let's say I'm out somewhere, I'm gone, or she's at work, or, whatever it is. Well, she could just show up one day and be like, well, look, I fucking made this little sketch. You want to go, you know what? Look at the paper. I want you to be surprised. And then you get this paper and it's like, oh, she draws a little doodle. And then the doodle is some bullshit like, I don't fucking know, the aquarium or some shit. And then like maybe she throws a joke in there. Her thing said that, what was it? She's funny. She swears, right? She fucking up, are you gonna save me out of the Shark Tank if I accidentally fall in? It's like, how you gonna fall into the Shark Tank? Don't they have tiny sharks at the fucking aquarium where you can actually fall in? Right? It's like, you know what I mean? Like the opportunities to express yourself and shit like that. That's the whole point of all of that art shit. And what I'm expressing right now is that it's sad that we have more than ample the opportunities and resources. There shouldn't be a epidemic of sadness, depression, loneliness, and motherfuckers not having relationships and shit. You niggas are dumb. There's so many opportunities, so many more opportunities now to plan for relationships and think things through and fucking express yourself. What I just now expressed in this video is like, what, 3 examples of the absolute colossal depth of shit that we have at our fingertips to speak about how you would date, how you would take a person out, what you could do, possibilities. Just some of that shit, I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, that shit sounds fun as fuck, right? Sitting around doing some of that with somebody, just making shit up, having fun, talking about business ideas, going through, being like, oh, look, babe, today I made a little comic strip. At some point, tell me if you want to do this shit, and then you fucking read the little comic strip, and it's like, all right, that should sound kind of fun. Maybe next week. And then you got this little comic strip that you fucking put around. Maybe you think about it sometimes, and if y'all don't do it together, well, you just bring up the comic strip again. Like, hey, babe, remember this fucking comic? And it's just shit like that where people don't use any of the resources you motherfuckers have to actually have relationships. And then people will sit around talking about how fucking all men are trash, you can't trust these hoes, all this dumbass shit. And it's like, did y'all do anything? You know what I mean? Like anything that y'all have the capability and technological advancements to do? So many people, their actual answer, if they're going to be honest, you couldn't say anything unless it was honest. No, you didn't try some of that shit. You tried things that you wouldn't have been able to been successful, and you could have probably told someone that you'd be busy and all this other shit. Like, people who will send you paragraphs. How comes they never send paragraphs of like why they're not going to be able to talk, why they're not going to be able to do this, why they're not doing that, why da 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 da. It's always paragraphs about what they want. It's always dumbass shit. But anyways, those are all the things that I would do to prepare a date, to try and sustain a relationship with the Sooyensu chick. And that's just based off of assumptions of, her pictures that I saw. I only saw a few. Her profile, and the little bit of things I know about her. She seems small, you know what I mean? I wouldn't assume that I could like go play basketball with her, or fucking. One thing I would assume is maybe we could go swimming. But I feel like most small people can't fucking swim. You know what I mean? There's things based off of, just assumptions. Those are some of the things that I would want to bring up and try to do. And then when it comes back to her vehicles and shit, I've been around vehicles, airplanes, all those different things most of my life, on and off. So I would be more than happy to do motorcycle shit. My family members, they loved motorcycles to a degree. They all had motorcycles. I had an aunt that died. She died from cancer. She didn't have a motorcycle. No, wait, she did have a motorcycle, but there's all this stuff, I think that I will love a relationship with Sinu in terms of just based off the pictures and shit. You know what I mean? Just based off the fact that I've seen pictures of her. Just today, I saw her with like a toolbox and fucking around with her motorcycle in a picture. I could show you my toolbox. It was for like what is it called? Air conditioning and like fixing computers and shit, something like that. Hold on. All right, so yeah, this is my toolkit. I don't remember where I put the pliers. I don't know if it's on the camera or not. But yeah, I got a toolkit too. I be, fixing stuff, working on things. It's just all in the matter of, well, what are you actually down with doing? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I find it cringe when people base all their relationships around money and what people are willing to pay for. And then when it comes down to, well, what would you really want to do in a relationship? And it doesn't really involve money. And it's like, you niggas are delusional. It's a reality. But yeah, this is just an example of things. This is just an example of, these are things you contemplate when you're trying to date people. A simple fact of like, all right, let's say this is just a hypothetical. Let's say you don't have money and you're trying to date someone, right? But you have all these other things. A lot of times, if someone can't hear you out and actually have a real relationship, that person, one, isn't ready for relationships. Two, they're delusional. And three, they'll probably end up like a single parent or some stupid shit one day. Because at the end of the day, when it comes down to relationships, you actually can't base it off of money. Bunch of rich people who treat people like shit, a lot of times they use money to do that. And there's a bunch of poor people, the reason they're poor is because fucking they don't want to do anything. You have to be able to sit down, have conversations, things like that toolbox. I probably never would have even put that in a video if I didn't see, oh, well, she actually gets out tools and works on her fucking car. Well, not her car, her motorcycle. I'll get out tools, I'll work on like a computer, I'll fucking, open it up. I'll open up a fucking Xbox controller, fuck around with it. They started making those controllers now where you can't really open them up, you can't really do shit, so that's less likely now. But if we wanted to sit down, make a business, make some shit together, this is the point of talking about this, we actually could, if both of us are willing to sit down and learn, all right, well, what's something that you want to make? Because I know how to program and code shit. So, like, what's something that maybe you want to make that goes along with a motorcycle? What's something that maybe you think would be fucking cool? I could do some research into it. What's some shit that we could probably come up with that people might not have known that they might want, that we could fucking sell to people? Really, there's tons of shit that we could do just based off of seeing her pictures of her with the motorcycle, working on the motorcycle. That means that if there was an opportunity for us to get together and work on something, Just based off that alone, we probably could talk about something hypothetically. I could draw pictures, we could make shit up, we could start making a blueprint, we could do all this shit. But the biggest problem in modern day society is, oh, well, you don't have a job. It's like, well, okay. Oh, well, you don't make a certain amount of money. It's like, well, you don't think any of what I just talked about could make money? Or it's like, you're going to actually put yourself lower on the fucking chart of whatever someone will rank you. Right? Because based off all these photos and all this shit, people would be like, oh, yeah, I'd spend hours with her, I'd talk with her, blah, blah, blah. But then once you get to the real shit, it's like, oh, well, you don't have money. And it's like, well, you're delusional. Right? And like, this is the real problem with dating and all this shit. Motherfuckers are actually just delusional, for real. Like, actually delusional. There's a bunch of shit where people aren't out here trying to date. They're trying to see if they could have a come up on money real quick. Oh, you got 10K, you got 20K for this. And then you end up with this scenario where you pay the chick and then nothing that she presented herself as is what she is. Same thing with guys. Right? And it's all sad at the end of the day because we have, again, I'm presenting to you all these technological advances, all this shit, all these resources, all this planning, all this art, all this research. We have more than enough resources for no one to be having relationships that they don't want to be in. And that's pretty much the end of this video. I'm going to show the art, the things I came up with, the ideas, and it's going to be about her. And then it's going to be, just something that I put on my Instagram. It's just an excuse to make an Instagram post and all that type of shit.